Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plugging into something really universal, this incredible link between music and your brain.
Yeah, it's something everyone experiences, right?
Totally. Think of this as like your backstage pass to the neuroscience behind why music hits you so hard, why you get goosebumps, or why you just start nodding along.
hmm And we've been diving into Chapter 14, Music in the Brain, a Symphony of Neurons, which really lays out this fascinating relationship.
Exactly. So our mission here is to unpack how our brains actually process music, how they react.
We'll uncover some pretty surprising things, I think.
Yeah, hopefully give you a whole new appreciation for what's firing off in your head when you hit play.
Okay,
Let's get into it.
so first off, listening to music, it's not passive at all. Your brain is incredibly active.
Right. It feels active sometimes, doesn't it?
It really is. What's amazing is just how many different parts of the brain light up and start, communicate. It's like a temporary orchestra being assembled just for that piece of music.
An orchestra in your head. Okay, so where's the first stop for the sound? Where does it land?
It starts in the auditory cortex. That's in the temporal lobe.
Kind of behind the ears.
Exactly, yeah. Think of it as the brain's sound lab. And inside that, you've got the primary auditory cortex, A1.
A1. Got it.
It's like the first receiver picking up the raw frequencies, just the basic sound waves.
Okay.
Then the areas around A1 get involved. They start figuring out, okay, is this a melody? What's the harmony? What's the rhythm? They make sense of the raw data.
All right, so A1 gets the sound. Other bits figure out the musical parts. But music is more than just notes. It makes us feel things. Big time. Where's that coming from?
That's the limbic system, often called the emotional brain.
Right, the older, more primitive part.
That's the one. Music gets a direct line in there, and it triggers neurotransmitters, especially dopamine.
The feel-good chemical.
Yeah, that reward signal. And structures like the amygdala and hippocampus, they're key players in our emotional responses. Joy, sadness, fear, nostalgia.
Wow. So that shiver down your spine when a certain part of a song hits.
That's literally your ancient emotional circuits firing up because
Yeah.
of sound patterns. Pretty wild, isn't it?
It really is. Okay, so we have the basic sound, the emotion. But what about when you're like really analyzing the music, following a complex part, or maybe anticipating what's next?
Now you're talking about the prefrontal cortex. That's the executive suite, higher level thinking.
Decision-making, planning.
Exactly. It helps us understand musical structure, predict where the music might go, appreciate a clever harmony change, or how a theme develops. It's where we find musical meaning.
Got it. Sound, emotion, intellect. It really is a full brain experience. Now, something I definitely experience is hearing a beat and just having to tap my foot, or feeling that urge to move, even if I'm trying not to.
Oh, yeah, that's your motor cortex activating.
Even when I'm still.
Yep. Even when you're consciously trying to stay still, the part of your brain responsible for planning and executing movement gets busy. It's like your brain is rehearsing the movement.
Huh. No wonder it's hard to resist sometimes.
It shows that really deep, almost automatic link between hearing rhythm and wanting to move to it.
Okay, that makes sense. And speaking of rhythm and movement, the cerebellum. I usually think of that for balance.
It's crucial for balance, yes, but it's also vital for perceiving rhythm and timing and coordinating our movements to the music.
Ah, so it helps us sync up.
Exactly. It helps predict the beat and synchronize, whether it's just a small head nod or, busting a move.
Man, it's just amazing how all these different parts work together.
Yeah.
How do scientists actually see this happening? How do they map it?
Mostly through neuroimaging. Things like fMRI, which tracks blood flow to active brain areas,
Okay.
and EEG, which measures the brain's electrical activity directly. These tools let researchers watch the brain respond to music in real time.
So they can literally see the orchestra playing.
Pretty much. And it really shows the complexity, the interconnectedness, and also how our brains can change and adapt based on our musical experiences. Brain plasticity.
Right. Okay, so music hits all these spots. Let's shift to something else everyone relates to.
Oh.
Music and memory. That uncanny thing where a song just throws you back in time. Why is that connection so strong?
It's about how the memory is formed in the first place. The hippocampus, crucial for making new memories, is key here.
Okay.
When you hear music, especially during a significant moment, your brain links the music to the context. Who you were with, where you were, how you felt. It all gets bundled together.
Like a neural package deal.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
These associations become physical connections in your brain.
And the emotion. Does that make the memory stickier?
Absolutely. That brings in the amygdala again, the emotion processor.
Oh, our old friend.
Right. When music triggers strong feelings, the amygdala basically tells the hippocampus, hey, pay attention, this is important.
So it boosts the memory formation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The amygdala and hippocampus working together create these really vivid, really lasting musical memories. That's why a song from your teens, maybe tied to a first love or a big event, can feel so incredibly potent years later.
Yeah, it's almost like time travel. You mentioned different types of music memory connections.
Definitely. There's autobiographical memory. That's when a song triggers a specific memory of a personal event, often in rich detail, emotionally charged.
Like remembering exactly where you were when you first heard it.
Precisely. Then there's emotional memory. Maybe you don't remember the specific event, but the music brings back the feeling associated with it very strongly.
Huh. So the emotion is easier to access than the details sometimes.
It can be. And maybe the most powerful example is in memory rehabilitation.
How so?
For people with conditions like Alzheimer's or dementia, hearing familiar music, songs from their past, it can sometimes unlock memories that seemed completely lost.
Wow.
It can provide this incredible sense of connection, identity,
Yeah.
improve their quality of life. It just shows how deep these musical memories run.
That's really quite profound. Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Music and language. They both seem to involve complex sound patterns, structure, maybe even a kind of grammar.
It's a really interesting comparison and definitely an active research area.
Do they share brain space?
Well, there's evidence suggesting some overlap. For instance, Broca's area key for producing language and Wernicke's area for understanding language.
Usually in the left hemisphere, right?
Typically, yes. Studies show these areas can also become active when we process music, especially things like musical syntax, the rules of how melodies and harmonies fit together.
So the brain might use similar tools for sentence structure and musical structure.
That's one hypothesis, yeah. And think about it. Both music and language unfold over time. You need working memory to hold the sequence, pay attention.
Right, you need to remember the beginning of the sentence or the musical phrase to understand the end.
Exactly. So they might draw on some of the same general cognitive resources, attention, memory.
But I mean, they can't be completely the same, can they? You can be a musical genius and struggle with words, or vice versa.
That's the crucial counterpoint. While there might be some shared low-level processing of sound, many researchers argue that the higher-level stuff, really understanding the meaning or the deep emotional impact, happens in largely separate brain networks.
And brain damage can affect one but not the other.
Precisely. We see cases like that, which supports the idea of distinct pathways for complex processing. So the relationship is complex. There are overlaps, definitely, but how much and where? That's still being figured out. It's fascinating, though.
Yeah, definitely food for thought.
Mhm.
Okay, thinking longer term now. How does music exposure, especially early on, affect how our brains actually develop?
Oh, the impact, particularly with musical training in childhood, seems pretty profound. It's not just about learning scales, it actively sculpts the developing brain.
Sculpts it. How?
Well, research shows musical training can lead to increased brain volume, more gray matter in specific areas. Regions involved in motor control, obviously, for playing an instrument, but also auditory processing and even spatial reasoning.
Wow, so practicing actually makes those parts of the brain bigger.
It seems so. More neural activity leads to structural changes. It's like brain exercise.
Okay, like lifting weights for your neurons.
Exactly. And it's not just size, it's connectivity too.
Yeah.
Musical training seems to strengthen the connections between different brain regions.
So better communication pathways.
Right. More efficient communication across the brain. And this improved connectivity can lead to broader cognitive benefits beyond just music.
Like what? What kind of skills improve?
Studies link musical training to better memory, improved attention span, enhanced language skills, even better mathematical abilities.
Really? Math, too.
Yeah, the thinking is that the complex demands of music focus, discipline, pattern recognition, sequencing kind of train the brain in ways that benefit other types of thinking.
Huh.
And obviously, you get enhanced motor skills, the fine motor control needed for instruments. That translates. So yeah, music seems to be this powerful tool for shaping the brain, boosting cognitive and motor skills in lasting ways.
It really makes you see music education differently, doesn't it? Much more than just a hobby.
Absolutely. It fosters creativity, discipline, focus, skills for life.
Okay, last big question. Let's zoom way out. Why music?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it this universal human thing? Any ideas about its evolutionary origins?
Ah, the million-dollar question. Why did we evolve this capacity? There are several compelling theories, probably not mutually exclusive.
Okay, like what?
Well, Darwin himself suggested sexual selection.
Like Peacock's Tales, but with songs.
Kind of. The idea is that musical ability, singing, rhythm, coordination, could have signaled genetic fitness, intelligence, creativity, making someone a more attractive mate, showing off good genes.
Huh, interesting. What else?
Social cohesion is a big one. Think about group singing, chanting,
Right,
dancing.
it brings people together.
Exactly. It builds bonds, promotes cooperation, synchronizes groups. That would have been hugely beneficial for survival in early human societies. Think tribes, rituals, work songs.
Yeah, you can definitely feel that unifying power.
Then there's emotional communication. Before complex language fully developed, music might have been a primary way to convey and share complex emotions, warnings, celebrations, sorrow.
A kind of pre-linguistic emotional channel.
That's the idea, communicating feelings essential for group life.
Makes sense.
And finally, some argue for cognitive development, that the skills involved in making and perceiving music pattern recognition, memory prediction, attention, actually help develop cognitive abilities useful for other things.
Like tool making or hunting strategies.
Potentially, yeah. The mental workout music provided might have had spin-off benefits for overall intelligence and problem solving.
So it sounds like there isn't one single answer. It's likely a mix of these things.
That's the consensus view, really. It was
Yeah.
likely multifaceted. Music probably helped with mating, bonding groups, communicating emotions, and sharpening minds, all contributing to our ancestors' survival and success.
So it's not just entertainment, it's woven into our very biology and history.
Deeply woven, it's fundamental to who we are.
Wow. Okay, so just to quickly pull the main threads together from this deep dive. Music isn't passive. It engages this huge network in your brain.
Right. Auditory, emotional, cognitive, motor areas.
It has this incredibly strong link to memory, especially emotional memory, thanks to the hippocampus and amygdala working together.
Creating those vivid flashbacks.
It seems to share some processing pathways or resources with language, though they're largely distinct at higher levels.
Yeah, an ongoing puzzle there.
Musical training, especially early on, physically changes the brain, enhancing connectivity and boosting other cognitive skills.
A real workout for the brain.
And its origins are likely deep in our evolutionary past, helping us survive and thrive through social bonding, communication, mate selection, and maybe even cognitive development.
It pretty much covers the symphony.
It really does. And thinking about those evolutionary roots, plus how adaptable our brains still are to music, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Absolutely. How is music continuing to shape us, individually and culturally? And how will our brains adapt to the new ways we create and consume music in the future?
Yeah. A lot to think about next time you put your headphones on. Thanks so much for exploring this with us.
My pleasure. It's endlessly fascinating.
Until next time on The Deep Dive, keep listening and keep those neurons firing.